Alright guys, sorry about that. My mic seemed to disconnect for a little bit there, but we are going to be back here for the BTN game versus Purdue and Minnesota. I'm going to fix up the icons there, but I am joined here again by Doug. How's it going, man?
It's going well. How's it going for you?
Pretty good, pretty good. This is the second set of games that I'm casting today, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I feel like right before we get started, I do need to like gloat or something. I'm not sure how this works, but a Canadian team, Ryerson University, beat Penn State earlier today. And as a Canadian, I feel obligated to mention that.
Actually, I didn't know where Reister was before this game. I didn't realize that it was a Toronto university.
It's in Toronto, yes.
Yeah, so
I visited there. I briefly considered going there, actually.
It'd be pretty crazy to see if two Toronto teams make it pretty far, but as we say that, picks and bans, we're already through all the bans, actually. Katarina Thresh and Misfortune banned by Purdue. Jace, Grace, and Zyra banned by Minnesota. Not a lot of those top-tier bans that you usually see, but a lot of them are probably counter bans, yeah.
Looks like, I think the Misfortune specifically may even be a ban against Final Moments. I like this. Nutters is a very proficient Rek'Sai player, so taking that away from him. And I believe this Varus will be locked in. Dewey Daddy is super comfortable on the Varus. And grabbing that for him is a smart decision. Obviously, Katarina, you have to ban that, right? When the other guy's named after it.
Yeah, Cat in the Hat. You see that? 100% ban. Now, if it was it was in the ADC slot, then ban Caitlyn, which I don't know why you would have the name Cat in the Hat anyway. But
it would have to be Kate in the Hat. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit as well. But we are going to see the Varus locked in. No surprise there. Like we said, we saw Dewey Daddy in the past couple of weeks just do amazing on that champion. We're going to see it again in this
I think he only got it once, but he didn't miss many arrows. And honestly, after like the first 10 minutes, he almost single-handedly won the game, just landing piercing arrow after piercing arrow and basically stopping the other team from ever fighting. Cat in the Hat does like the Orianna. We saw him on that a couple times last week, sometime last week or a few days ago. I don't even remember. Time is an illusion, but he's proficient on that, so Gungu's going to take that away from him.
Yeah, definitely.
And we do have a Malzahar in addition to that. That means support Malzahar, I would assume.
Yes, it's most likely support Malzahar, especially with the Orianna being picked up, and the other place he would be is possibly the jungle. So it seems like Final Moments. It seems like Final Moments does want to pick up that Lulu, which in my opinion is the Malzahar counter right now. She takes care of the Voidlings very quickly. She has ways to get around Malzahar, ways to disrupt his ultimate. So if
you know
Final
who
Moments
else counters Malzahar?
Who?
Support Nunu.
Throwback to the game that we saw yesterday where we're still scratching our heads about that. Still not sure on that support
move. You eat
move.
the minions. How can you defeat that? But yeah, I love Lulu. Obviously, I'm a Lulu main. It's kind of my thing. So she's back in the support role after many years not being a support.
Yeah, she's like one of the true flex champions of going anywhere. Yeah. Which, we're not saying that she's not going to go top, so it's most likely support, but it can still be that top lane Lulu.
Yeah, I haven't seen top lane Lulu in a long time, and with a Varus, it's a bit weird. That's normally like a hyper carry, protect the Kog'Maw type thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to grab the top lane Lulu, I would expect this as a support. And yeah, super flexible, great at preventing your AD carry from being spontaneously bursted down. And just extra utility for the whole team. They're going to grab Caitlyn here. That's going to be Score picking up. So we have Score, and then we have Erox, which is just Score backwards.
Oh, wow, that is true. It's great to see like synergy like that, but it's not the support with the name Erox, though. It's not like
a lane where you typically consider the synergy. The AD carry jungle synergy is not frequently talked about.
Yeah,
it's not really a thing.
But yeah, I don't think anybody's going to beat when it was Piglet and Pooh Mandu on the same team. I think that was back in when SKT won their first championship. It was Piglet and Pooh Mandu in the bot lane, and that has to be the most adorable bot lane combo in all of League of Legends. So the Shen is going to be picked up here for Central Time. If I remember correctly, I think we've seen him on Shen before.
He did play it last week. It was fairly proficient. Nothing world breaking by any means, but strong split pusher. He played it as Shen should play, like not super flashy. I believe he won his lane, just again not very flashy, but got 20 CS up. Used that to get a split pushing edge, and against someone like a Nautilus who isn't a strong duelist, that's exactly what Shen likes to do. He can struggle against the super strong duelist like a Fiora, but when you put him against a tank, he will have the split pushing edge, and he is even superior in showing up to fights across the map. So that's why you pick Shen.
Yeah, Shen, really amazing top laner. He's actually been shown to be very impactful in the past couple of weeks too, both in the pro scene, the BTN scene, and even in the Penn State LCS. They've been playing Shen quite a bit, and it's one of those things where you have a very immobile AD carry such as Varus. It's really easy to jump on him. The Shen makes it so that you are going to be able to protect your backline fairly easy.
And additionally, the Kha'Zix too. It's another vein for Shen to follow if you want to get extra tankiness while Nutters jumps into the middle of the team fight, deliver a Shen there, help him pick up an assassination, and give him that extra health to survive it. And then maybe a Lulu as well, for just a whole bunch of extra health on the Kha'Zix. There's options here. It doesn't always have to be defensive, and someone who jumps into the middle of the enemy team is pretty useful when you have a Shen.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really excited to see this Kha'Zix Shen combo happen.
Yeah. We do have a cleanse here on Gungyu. I just wanted to point that out. There's nothing. I guess
it's against the Rise. Yeah, Rise is it's no easier of CC than a point and click. Like, hey, I'm gonna hover you, boom, you're locked in for I think a second or how long the binding from Rise lasts. So it's gonna be able to protect him from that.
It's typically like the same level of power that you as like a Lissandra ult, which is like the classic cleanse. But yeah, certainly it's very easy to get. You just flash if you need to, or just walk up and press W. And when you have a Kha'Zix on the other team, obviously that's a lot of damage potentially jumping out at you. So getting out of there in a hurry is important.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it also helps you away from the chain of corruption as well as the taunt coming in from Shen. So I really like that. And it always has that weird interaction with chain of corruption because it doesn't completely get rid of the entire ultimate. Your allies can still like get locked up from as it corrupts the rest of your team. The one good thing, though, is it doesn't follow you. Once you cleanse, it's basically wherever you were cleansed, that's where it spreads out from. So your allies still have a way to get away from that without you, like, bringing in that bind with you.
I actually did not know that. I would assume it would have followed you when you cleansed it, but that's good to know. You can't just drag it into your team when you're not supposed to be able to move.
Yeah, I believe that the same works if you, like with Tom Kench, if you devour somebody who has been hit up by the ultimate. I'm not 100% sure, but one thing we're going to have to keep an eye on is going to be
Morgult keeps going through devour.
Like, really?
You can have them in your mouth, and they can still get stunned and die if Morg already got the tether from the first sight of her ultimate.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way when my AD carry died in my mouth.
It's always like one of the saddest things, because like you just like spit them out immediately, and it's just their dead body, but one thing we're going to keep in mind in this game and keep a look at is going to be the Erox versus Nutters jungle matchup, is because I think Erox won't be able to duel Nutters really at any stage in the game until like late game, but at that point the dueling really doesn't matter between the junglers. So we're going to have to see if Nutters is going to go ahead and counter jungle a lot this game.
It's possible. Rek'Sai is a strong enough duelist and has some CC where, you're not necessarily super keen to invade on her. But mostly she's a champion focused on just map pressure in general. The ultimate can get her back in the jungle really quick. She can farm up really well. And usually Rek'Sai will get an edge in map vision and farm pretty early.
Yeah, definitely true. So if this is you guys' first time watching the BTN series, one unfortunate thing is, as a rule, we do have to wait an additional 5 minutes once the game starts. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to put the timer on. I'm going to show it as well. And in about 4.5 minutes, we'll be back for this game versus Purdue and Minnesota. It's going to be a great one. We'll see you in a bit.
So hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love. Risk the follow, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions.
All right, guys, we're going to get into this next game between Purdue and Minnesota. And one thing we actually didn't touch on in the last game is how important this game is. It is actually the final game between not only these two teams, but for them in this BTN series. So if Purdue wins, they are going to lock in their #1 spot and be able to go into the playoffs with the #1 seed. But while Minnesota, they're currently sitting on the 4th place and top 4 make it to playoffs. So if they lose this game, then Northwestern has a chance to swoop in and get their playoff spot. So Minnesota is kind of playing for their tournament lives in this game.
Yeah, you definitely just hate waiting to see what happens when you're sitting on a playoff spot. You want to secure it yourself, or do everything you can to do so. So, love to see Minnesota try really hard. I mean, you always want to see them try hard, but
yeah,
we'll see. You know, the top team can be a scary thing to go up against, but we saw Minnesota have some really great games a few days ago. Got a little messy in one of them, but they have the tools to pull this out.
Yeah, and it's not like Purdue is undefeated either. They have dropped a game as well. So far, everybody in this division has dropped a game, and I believe, I'm going to check real quick, the only undefeated team right now is Michigan, who is sitting in the East division right now, and this is the West division, which for these two teams. So they don't have to face Michigan just yet, so they don't have to worry about that, but they want that #1 spot, so they face the weaker teams when the playoffs start. So Purdue, with this win, will lock it in. So we'll see how this game continues out, because Minnesota, they're going to play like they have to play like they have everything to lose, but they don't want to play too safe. They will kind of want to play like they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, well, they should probably play a bit safe here to start. Varus against Caitlin. You know, you kind of wait this one out a bit. Actually, Fredo trying to get zoned really hard there, taking a fair bit of harass, but does shove them off the wave, so Caitlin Malzahar starting off strong here. And then, that's just too much back. Yeah, you can't take that much harass. That will lose you a lot of pressure very fast.
Yeah, and that's like Lulu is quite a bit of a bully early on, especially with Varus. And with those rain of arrows coming in, Fredo there just taking so much poke, because we see it where
everything.
This is actually kind of strange, actually. You see the Dewey Daddy here starting with the piercing arrow. Usually you don't get that until round 5. Usually you get your E on Varus just because of the more consistent damage coming in. But because you have final moments on this Lulu who's able to apply those slows, it then makes it so that your piercing arrow is so much easier to land. So it's a thing where hail of arrows might be a little bit less damage, but a lot easier to hit, while piercing arrows doing so much damage, and it's now easier to hit because you have a Lulu on your side.
Well, you're exactly right. They used that combo a couple times in this harass situation, and actually less sustain is going to be on the side of score, as he did go the Doran's single pot route when Dewey Daddy has the 3 biscuits. So final moments has 1 health pot left, and Fredo's already out. So we can see the sustain battles going over to Dewey Daddy in final moments on Minnesota's side, but the CS is already 10 is the difference, and there's not a significant wave built up. They just straight miss some under tower. Not surprising. When you get shoved under tower level 1, that can be really tough to deal with.
Ooh, Rek'Sai with a very early gank here is just going on final moments. It's going to be locked down. First blood actually goes over to final moments somehow, and he lives. So great turnaround there by UMN to pick up that kill.
Yeah, there's a lot of minions. Like, you can see the minions are still stacked up here. It can be tough to do. And Lulu just does damage. I mean, she's such a strong early harass champion. That was always her specialty.
Down here. I don't know if they want this. But in the top side, we do see Nutters going on to Thieves right there. Nice flash taunt there by Central Time. Gets the kill and the flash. This is the start Minnesota wanted.
Yeah, that's 2 kills already in both side lanes. That's absolutely huge. Unfortunately, the money is on final moments, though. Lulu, again, one of the better supports at making use of that early money. to just turn up the level of harass.
Ooh, teleport down here on the bot side, though. Final moments. Going to get silenced. That is going to be a dead Lulu. She's going to drop it. Can Thieves get him as well? Yeah, Dewey Daddy does get locked up, so that is going to be 2 kills. Traded right back by a great teleport by Thieves. So we'll just see if Central Time's able to make use of this time, but he's already back, so he's not shoving that wave.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You basically never see a 5-minute teleport anywhere but back to lane. So the fact that they pulled that off and actually worked turning this lane back around, it's still 600 gold down, but I was actually, score is still up 200 gold due to the fact that he does have a pretty massive CS lead, all things considered. That will definitely help them turn it around after it looked like they were going to start falling behind in that lane. So keeping the edge there so they can keep this Varus down as long as possible, that's absolutely massive.
Yeah, now with that, we did see Thieves in the top side. Looked like he was going to have a rough time actually getting killed there by the Nutters gank, but now that he got 2 kills, it's really going to help him. He already got that Sunfire cape, and now at this point, Central Time went back and got a Tiamat because he realized, hey, I got the early kill. I'm going to be able to be now aggressive in this lane, but now the fact that Thieves got 2 kills, I don't know if that is going to hurt him too much getting that early Tiamat.
Yeah, we'll see. Absolutely. Shen does really well with the Tiamat. It's a pretty great item for him, and Nautilus does not have much sustain in his build, and they're going back.
Yeah, repeat gang in the bot side. One more auto. She's going to do it, but it's going to be the Q coming in from score. The Piltover Peacemaker picking up the kill, and with the return gank this time, Aerox going to get a kill for his bot laner. Now 1-0-1 on this Caitlyn, and we're only 6 minutes in, and there's 5 kills.
Bit of a strange exhaust there by Fredo. I mean, Dewey Daddy was pretty safe under that tower. Going any further there would have been pretty crazy. But yes, absolutely. Aerox revisiting that lane. They absolutely knew there were no summoners in that lane, and that's a lane you want to gank. So really interesting that he was able to pull the exact same path off that he pulled off last time. It wasn't warded up. That's something that needs to be addressed here, or he's just going to keep doing that.
And now Nutters coming back up to the top side. It seems like PU has a huge target here on the bot side, but Thieves is going to get jumped on again by Nutters. Without the flash, he's able to get the dredge line out, but it's going to be enough damage as Nutters is going to pick it up. He is going to be 1-0-1 as Kha'Zix really early now. 6 kills, 7 minutes. I think we're going to have, at this point now, a kill every minute.
Yeah, I did not quite appreciate the speed that Kha'Zix gets when he ults. I thought Central Time may have jumped the gun there, but they knew what they were doing. They pick up that kill, and it's always really nice to focus the lane that has... See, he's back here again. He knows it's working, and he's taking... All right, I think he realizes Cat in the Hat is coming down, so he's going to try to get out here, or no. All right.
He's going to be able to get out.
He's going to be fine, but yeah. They finally spot him out, so that's not going to happen this time. But you can see the level difference here. They're both a level down in this lane. We know half the CS, actually. This is an 800 gold lead, sub 8 minutes on just one champion. That is significant and really hard to recover at this point. But focusing the global again is very, very crucial. It will free Central Time up to make an impact on the other lanes. Maybe someday he'll be able to bail out this bot lane a little bit.
As you say, that final moment does get chunked down. Already level 6. It's at level 6 versus level 4. Sadly, Malzahar doesn't have his ultimate to lock him down, but look at the damage coming in. You did say that with that goal lead for the Caitlyn, she's about 700 ahead, 800 almost, but if you look at it for UMN, every other position is ahead, and that's why they had that 600 goal lead in their favor, even though score is so far ahead of Dewey Daddy. And
yeah, when you're down a combined 3 levels, you don't go up for trades, even if you're Lulu.
Yeah.
That was just a bit crazy. He's lucky to be alive.
Yeah, Nutters is down here, but like you said, I don't know if they could actually go in on this. Luckily, Fredo is still not level 6. Oh, Central Time is here. They did that stand behind me, stand divided or whatever it is. But anyway, Nutters is going to get caught up because of Thief's teleport here, but he doesn't have the damage just yet. Cat in the Hat is here with the Realm Warp. Can he do enough damage to score? He does quite a bit, but not enough. Nutters, little too far forward, is not going to die from that Malzahar auto, but now Cat in the Hat is forced thrown away. 4v3 in the bot side.
On the way now.
No one dies, though, but here comes Aerox to change that, but he gets locked down from Cat in the Hat. And now Gungu is here, but can he find anything? The flash wave from Dewey Daddy, just because of the thought of the shockwave. And that's just going to be a lot of summoners blown, but still, no kills yet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when you do try to just force that Shen gank, you are putting basically all of your, I guess, eggs in the landing the taunt basket. And you miss that taunt, you're opening up that gank to be turned around, and they actually do give up the first tower gold here, which, yeah, as you mentioned, has been nerfed for this patch, but it's still a significant edge. And look at this, 48 CS difference in the bot lane
in 10
when
minutes.
the total is 80.
Yeah.
He is more than doubling at 10 minutes in. That's pretty brutal. And that was their big chance to recover. Now the Shen ult is on cooldown. He does still have teleport, and he managed to burn Thief's teleport in response, which means he can potentially revisit that lane without a counter. But they're actually switching it right now, which of course is the smart thing to do when you already get the tower.
Mm-hmm.
And they remove basically any chance of turning that around in the near future.
Yeah, this is going to allow DougFD, though, to get some sort of farm here in the bot side, and that will at least stagnate the CS difference. It's one thing that now that score can't beat up on them because they still have that level lead right now, 6 versus 5. DougFD just leveling up, and that might have been one of the things that maybe delayed the switch just a little bit because it would allow you to just still bully DougFD in final moments. As Central Time up here is actually doing quite a decent job.
He may have been stalling there for Cat in the Hat, who looked like he was looking to roam up there with that Realm Warp potential. Now Iraq shows up using their Rek'Sai ultimate, so I think that will cool things off here. And I don't believe we'll have any more aggression in the near future.
And yeah, here's one thing though, is with the 80 carries on, or I guess the bot laners on either bot and top for both teams here, it seems like definitely that UMN is having a harder time trying to get some turret damage here. Granted, Central Time is doing a decent job, but Thief here is just able to walk forward without being harassed, and I don't think Central Time is going to be able to do the same thing. He's actually going to go under, try to get the taunt under tower, and he's going to be just locked down, and he's just going to drop without his team being able to make it in time. And now this is going to try to fight a 3v2 here, but can Cat in the Hat have the damage? Score is already really low. He just needs one more Q. He's going to find it, and Nutters kills another kill onto Frito there. Erox is going to equal 1 out with at least a kill on Cat in the Hat, but now it's just going to be the jungle duel, and this is going to be in favor of Nutters, but here comes Gungu to change that. Are they going to be able to lock him down? The Shockwave is available, but gets the flash away, but still has the threat of that Shockwave. The flash for the ultimate comes in, and that is going to be a kill for Gungu. The stand united, not coming out in time, while Thieves is still just 1v2ing in this bot side, protecting his tower. They actually might be able to get this kill. He's fairly low. The exhaust comes in. Can they find this Q? And he does, but it's not enough for the kill. He just needs one more auto, but he's under tower. He's going to go down. It's not an execution. Thieves just gets a straight up kill there.
That's a what, a 4 for 2 all in all. I think final moments. No, you got to EQ there, man.
Yeah.
That's not just a. I
was thinking the same thing. He should have E'd the minion wave and then threw the Q out there. He didn't have the range to make it into the bush.
I don't know if he knew he was in the bush or even considered that possibility. Maybe he was just trying to shove the wave. I don't know. That's unfortunate, but yeah, that's a 4 for 2 as they just went really hard. They're still, you can see, focusing on score here. They realize there's a huge discrepancy in gold between the marksmen right now, and they wanted to even that up, but it's really tough when you have two people on the bot side. You try to make a play on the opposite side of the map. That's rarely going to go well, and it did not.
Yeah, we see a 1,600 goal lead right now for Purdue, and that's all in score right now. He's exactly 1,600 ahead of his counterpart, DougFD, but Gungu is going to be all alone, isolated too. He's going to get dropped. Final moments is able to pick up that kill, and this is going to result in a 5v4 fight that for some reason Purdue actually wants. They might be able to chunk down Central Time enough, but not able to find the kill just yet. So they're going to fight around their tower right now. They are missing their mid laner, but Score, he's the fed one. They still had the damage in that Caitlyn. And we see that Minnesota here not looking to fight 5v4.
You know what? Credit to Minnesota here as they keep the pressure going, and they actually do manage to pick up a kill this time with apparently an unexpected roam. As certainly when you just keep winning team fights, you may not expect the other team to keep picking them. But that time,
the roam
they grab one kill. And they're looking for more.
Yeah, they're going to go on this, but final moments already extremely low, forcing the ultimate out already. Thieves, though, at half health. They might actually be able to get this kill. Nice flash dodge from the piercing arrow, but it's not going to be enough. This corruption arrow going to land on the Erox. This might be another kill. Nice shockwave hitting 2 people. That might be the fight or the turnaround that they need, but they're going to drop in. Dewey Daddy with the snipe is going to get Fredo here. Nice taunt flash forward as Central Time's going to help his mid laner get a double kill onto this Orianna. And this is just looking so good for Minnesota.
Yeah, they need to get the tower here, get some objectives as well to get that gold going in their favor. And they are now actually 1,000 gold up. If they get this tower here, that would be absolutely monstrous. And they just turn it around in one go. After they pick up 5 kills in about 1 minute's time. Really well done. Really good use of that Realm Warp to catch out, I believe it was Erox and Thieves. They may actually trade towers here, but still 5 kills going in their favor. And, the more gold they pick up overall, even if they trade it, the better, because that ultimately shrinks the percentage.
Score does get jumped on here. We are going to see a teleport come in under tower, but Nutters is going to have the ultimate from Nautilus come in, and they're going to be able to pick up that kill. They get the tower and the jungler so far, so we'll have to see what kind of or what else they go for. But Erox does get chucked down fairly low. Can they find the re-engage? It doesn't seem like it. And again, Minnesota just not in the right spots there. They're going to lose 1 member, but this gold back to even. It's been swaying back and forth this entire game, and this has just been one crazy game.
It was interesting that they even chose to try to defend that. Obviously, in hindsight, that was a mistake, but you had just gotten so much going in your favor. You can afford to give up 1 tower in response. You don't need to win the game all in one play. So they give up a little bit extra gold as they give up, 1 or 2 kills, I believe.
Corrupt arrow, and corruption is. They're just going to lock down Gungoing. He's going to get exploded there as Fredo also going to drop so many kills in this game. 20 in 16 minutes. This is one hell of a game.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota, they're starting to see a weakness in Purdue right now as they have found a couple of fights in a row where they can get the immediate odd man advantage and push that. And that's okay. You can't hit them all.
Yeah, they do get a dragon as well, and that is going to be an Ocean Drake, which with these prolonged fights is going to help him. But Cat in the Hat going to be locked up. Can he get the Realm Warp? He can't score. Going to be able to pick up that kill.
Flashed in place. That's always unfortunate to see when you try to go over the wall and you don't quite make it. Looks silly, but it's unfortunate. Yeah, so they get a tower, though. They get the dragon, as you said, Ocean Drake. Always a nice boon to a team that can look to poke, which obviously they can since they have a Varus. And yeah, right now just 1,000 gold up. They've tried a couple times to extend that lead further than 1,000. It hasn't quite gone in their favor, but a big upgrade from being behind about 2,000 like they were earlier.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it the game. Like, I want to see the gold graph of because it has to be like a sine curve right now, just going up and down in a nice motion.
It's been a bit wild, for sure. The big gold leader right now is actually Cat in the Hat for Minnesota. 200 gold behind Score still, though, as Score is the big dog on the Rift. Still doubling Dewey Daddy's CS. 2, 1, and 4 as well. Just looking really monstrous right now, and that's only going to get worse, of course. Being a heavy auto attack focused marksman. Nice steal.
Yeah, it might actually be at the point where...
Oh, no, sorry, I don't think so. It wasn't a steal. I thought Final Moments took the Skull Crab.
Oh.
I was mistaken.
But yeah, I'm this thing about CS, though, on the Varus, though, at 80 CS difference, when you're threatened to be Flame Horizoned at 20 minutes, that's just not a good spot to be in.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We saw actually Minnesota's mid laner Cat in the Hat, Flame Horizon, Azure Apocalypse from Iowa.
Nutter's going to get blown up.
Oh wow,
he's actually going to be able to get out with a nice ultimate coming out from Lulu. The Shockwave going to miss some people, forcing a flash though. But Nutters somehow was able to live that. I thought he was dead to rights, but Central Time is going to be in the backside. He's going to get locked down by Fredo. The damage is going to be in. He's somehow living Erox is going to be able to finish him off, but is now Thieves going a little too far. Nutters in the backside, but he can't find the damage just yet, but everybody on the side of Purdue is extremely low. It's just a 2-for-1 trade so far, and as these health bars are blinking, we do see Fredo just get popped there by Dewey Daddy. So now it's going to be a 3v3 as they try to siege here, but I feel like that's just going to be the end of this engage, and it's just going to be a 2-for-2.
Yeah, another arrow. Again, we talked about it. Dewey Daddy does not miss many piercing arrows, so being able to get a kill on the backside of that fight was really nice. Ended that siege, and landing one more for good measure on Gungu, just to say, don't even try it. We'll take the 2-for-2. We'll keep our minor gold lead, and we'll go with them. They're actually going to try to rotate really quick to pick up a tower here, while Purdue was basing.
Yeah, that was actually pretty interesting because we still saw Score on the map near that mid lane, and that's one of those things where he could have still possibly try to rush down mid and get that tier 2 tower, but Minnesota here kind of calling the bluff there. Here. And yeah, we'll have to see if there is going to be an overextension there. Thieves still just not able to land that Dredge Knight, but he still goes forward. He's going to be chunked down to half health, but Score is here, but he's already pretty low, so it seems like Purdue here doesn't want to keep going.
Yeah, well handled so far. They didn't let any initiation happen, and they landed some immediate damage onto Score to keep them from really pressing that fight. And they may be able to still get this top tower as piercing arrows keep landing.
Hey, just Dewey Daddy here.
Really head to the bot side, sorry.
I was going to say, Dewey Daddy here just doing a massive amount of work with these piercing arrows. And imagine what he would be doing if he had 100 more CS.
Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing. Imagine if he wasn't the lowest CS in the game in terms of laners.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
Oh, yeah.
It's unfortunate. It was a really rough lane, obviously. They had a great start, and then Erox just kept visiting that lane. And then, I still think there is a little bit of laning trouble between the combination or Dewey Daddy in particular, because Dewey Daddy was consistently down in CS last week too, despite the fact that he is very proficient at landing these arrows.
He's able to finish off the champions, but the Chain of Corruption is going to land, but he's going to drag it away from his team. Actually, no, it stays behind his Score. Just gets popped by Central Time there, so this is looking really good for Minnesota as they're going to continue on this fight because Fredo going to get popped as well, and we do see that Thieves was able to get away there, but a nice shockwave out of the Realm Warp, but the damage just isn't there yet on the Orianna, so Minnesota getting a 2-for-0 from the engage by Purdue, and it looks like they're going to roam and try to go for a very early Baron. This might work for them.
Yeah, they had a great pickup there on Score and Fredo immediately as Nutters just delivered Central Time into the middle of the team. Again, that Kazakh Shen combo can be very potent if you get the right angle, and that's exactly what they got there. Trying to dive a tower in that situation can split up your team and expose your backline. Thieves is still running.
Yeah, but he just keeps getting locked down with the slows, with the binding, but that is going to be the death of him very shortly. They're just going to run him down. It's going to take quite a bit, but without any man, without any allies, he is going to drop. They're just wanting to give the kill over to Dewey Daddy, give him some gold, but look at him just auto-reveal, making it so bad, but no, Nutters going to be picking it up. I guess they realized that Dewey Daddy was taking a little bit too long for that, so...
I guess, I would call it the Canadian standoff, but I guess you can call it the Minnesotan standoff. No, you take the kill. No, you take the kill.
Please, I insist. I insist. Take it.
Central Time's found Gungu. I don't know if he'll be able to grab this kill, but he'll certainly push him off the way. But yes, normally you pick up objectives off the back of a team fight. In this case, the objectives was Thieves, who has the same health pool as Baron, apparently. But they also pick up an Ocean Drake. And that's their second Ocean Drink, so the absolute sustained advantage now.
Look at Nutters right there.
Absolutely assist Dewey Daddy here. Sorry?
I was about to say, Nutters was just healing up quite a bit. Cause I didn't think about it. No, he's in combat, so it wouldn't be going. It was just
he's in combat, so he's not getting that. That's just, I guess, his W. But yeah, I mean, when you have a Varus, Ocean Drakes are a lovely thing.
Oh, yeah. It's going to prolong these sieges, and that's what Varus loves. He loves to be able to hit the backline of his opponents and then just make it so that they can't defend towers, and then it's basically a free tower for you. And when you have Ocean Drake, you can take a little bit of harass, just back off and come back, not having to fully back. So this is almost perfect Drakes for Varus. The only thing that might be better is an Infernal Drake, but there's no situation where Infernal Drake is a bad choice.
Oh man, just briefly, Score was 1 CS away from Flame Horizon Gooey Daddy. He's at 95 CS up, so if he gets 5 CS here really quick, maybe not.
Now here's a question about Flame Horizon that I didn't know. Is it like, once it happens, boom, you're Flame Horizon, doesn't matter how the rest of the game goes, you will consistently, that will, like, you've been Flame Horizon, or do you have to consistently stay 100 behind? It's a trick. Okay.
It's like a flag. Yeah. You've been Flame Horizon. You can't come back from that.
Okay.
The fact that it happened is real.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it was just 1 second or 20 minutes, you were Flamed Horizoned. Yeah. All right, it makes sense.
And, yeah, they're going to finally rotate and pick up this last outer tower, as Thieves is actually all the way in on that bot side, but Central Time will counter. He can afford to use ultimates kind of nonchalantly like that because, of course, he has his ultimate as well.
Yeah. And yeah, Thieves just walked away immediately to get back to the rest of his team. But they're going to find Erox there, just going to get popped there. And Nutters picks up another kill for himself. He's going to be now 4-3-9 on this Kazakhstan. We do see Minnesota here having to answer Purdue as they got a tier 2 tower in the mid lane. So great job by Purdue. That kind of giving up their jungler, but they got a tier 2 tower out of it. So definitely worth it. And they stopped their own tier 2 from being destroyed. But this is going to be a good collapse.
I don't know if they can get out here.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough disengage coming out from Purdue. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but we'll have to see what happens. Frito going to be popped down. Is he going to die? The redemption doesn't come in time as he's going to drop. Score was also killed in the back of that fight, so that's going to be 2 kills going in their favor. 20-11 so far in favor of Minnesota, and this is a 3,000 gold lead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a decent rotation there by Purdue to pick up an open tower in a situation where no one else could respond with a tower of their own, but Minnesota immediately picked up on what was going on. They saw Erox off to the side, were able to pick him off, and then they knew, of course, they could take a fight 5v4 pretty easily. And they're all going to try to exit the backside here. This may not work.
Yeah, Final Moments does get locked down. Is already really low, but Erox and Thieves just don't have the damage as everybody from Minnesota came back. That Thieves just gets destroyed as he's already gone. The shockwave come in on the 3 people, but it's not going to be enough to finish any of the kills. Nutters is just able to jump away with that advanced leap, so it's still going to be a 1-for-0 as Thieves drops.
Yeah, DougFD actually got the back off. He was all the way back in base, but they actually didn't send enough people to take on 4 of the members of Minnesota, even with them at half health. And that's just another kill over to Minnesota here as they're now 5,000 gold up with a Baron in their pocket.
And that's just like good trust in your team, because I believe Final Moments had Flash there and just didn't use it. Maybe because he didn't want to leave Cat in the Hat behind, or he knew his team was going to be able to come back to pick up that. But just great job by them to bait in Thieves and Erox and just be able to collapse on them and destroy them.
Yeah, definitely I think it was a team call to turn around and fight that. But at the same time, a support flash to save yourself, and maybe you don't bother. Yeah. And Score's just dead.
Yeah, there's not much play-by-play to say there as Score just gets popped there. And now we're going to see Minnesota just have double the kills now. Score might have double of the CS, and having the Flame Horizon, it's been triggered quite a while ago, actually.
It happened. And it's there. But so he can be proud of himself for that. I Flame Horizon my opponent. And now they're going in.
Yeah, they're going to get caught up in the shockwave. I don't know if they want this. They brought the minions, but they're just going to be chucked down. Nutters is going to go down. Here comes the redemption. Is it going to finish off anybody? We do see Frito using his own redemption to keep himself alive. Central Time just taking so much. Goes back in as well. He is so low, but he knows how tanky he is. Cat in the Hat is not able to finalize any of the kills, and Dewey Daddy not finding the damage just yet with these arrows, and this might just be a little bit of an overextension coming out from Minnesota. Final Moments is going to protect his top laner, and Dewey Daddy picks up a kill on the top side. This might be the turnaround that they want now. Can he find the piercing arrows? We do see Central Time drop, and now there's going to be a 3v2 as the hook lands, and Score coming back. He picks up the kill. He gets the shutdown goal. That's a person who you definitely want it on. And Minnesota just going a little too aggressive. You can't realm warp to someone's inhibitor tower when Shockwave is up.
I don't even know what the plan was there. Were they thinking that they would actually get behind them? Because they ended up just realm warping into the front line. There was no super advantageous position there. They weren't getting a flank. They realm warped under tower into a Nautilus. they're not going to win that team fight. It's just not going to happen.
The plan on that is what you want to do is if you take a tier 2, you could actually use Realm Warp to bring the minions with you. Because when you Realm Warp with minions, the minions actually arrive first, so they will take turret aggro. So I guess their plan was, we took this, let's take Inhibitor really quick. The only problem is they didn't realize, oh, we're against a Nautilus. We were against an Orianna with Shockwave up. This might not be a good idea. And that was an easy Shockwave once the Realm Warp was over. And then Nautilus with the ultimate there, the depth charge, was just able to CC just so many people afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have the minions, so there's still going to be 5 people there shooting you as soon as you get there. Yeah, obviously not working out for them, but they're still fine. They have Baron on final moments. Actually, that just expired. Never mind. But 3,000 gold lead, and they're probably still in a position where they can win team fights, and they certainly still have the siege advantage here. So
they do give up that Infernal Drake.
Reset up. Yeah, it could come to cost them. It's certainly extra team fight power that they do not have. But again, 2 Ocean Drakes on a Varus. They certainly have the tools to keep pushing and just keep safely picking up the outer towers or the inner towers that are remaining.
Keyword on safely.
Yes. Not realm warping underneath them.
Especially with the Varus on your team. It's like you don't have an AD carry. Like if that was with a Caitlyn or even just say a Vayne or someone who can deal a lot of consistent damage, maybe that works out for you. Still, I don't think so, but it's at least better than a Varus who's just going to be now.
But it was also they just sent a couple. They just sent 2 people. You need to commit the whole team at least, so you can all turn around and start fighting. But the rest of the team was still too far back to join their front line as they were killed off pretty early.
Yeah, just a little too aggressive for Minnesota, but that might have been the wake-up call they needed. They didn't lose too much off of it, just that Dragon as well as couple CS here and there, and it did slow down on the majority of their Baron. So
yeah, more a loss of opportunity cost there, I guess you would call it, as they lost the Baron. Exactly. They could no longer push that inhibitor tower. There was potential for them to get that inhibitor tower that they kind of threw away there. But what they gave back in terms of gold was not too significant. They might look for something here.
Yeah, they are completely choking out the vision of Purdue here. And I feel like they are just trying to get as much fog of war as possible.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going to be really tough now. Granted, there is still that one ward in the back of the Baron pit, which is going to give them some sort of vision. So without that being dealt with, we see that Purdue is just like, okay, we just won't walk into your jungle. We'll just go straight forward, and you now have to answer us, or we will get that inhibitor tower.
Yeah, Cat in the Hat is bot side actually going to start shoving into that. This is a champion without a teleport. Of course, Realm Warp can get you halfway there. But it's really interesting that they're going to choose to keep going. He may pick up this inhibitor tower.
It might cost final moments, though. Here comes the Stand United. Is going to be enough to keep him alive, it seems like, because now Central Time is here. But this is going to be a fight without the Rise, but this just might be an inhibitor then for Minnesota. So a very interesting idea by Purdue here to pull the trigger. They do get a kill off of it, but what is it going to cost them? Can they get Central Time as well? It doesn't look like it, but Cat in the Hat is definitely going to get this inhibitor. So very interesting decision there by Purdue, and I don't think it was really all that worth it.
Yeah, I don't think they need to go too crazy here, stopping the backs or anything, as it looks like they may be trying to pick up someone on the backside. But yeah, I would just get out now. The inhibitor has been taken. That's the best inhibitor you can really get, as of course putting the super minions on the opposite side of the map of Baron really increases your chances to get the next Baron. And they may try to just get this in a counter. Final Moments is dead for 11 more seconds, so he'll be dead. He won't be able to arrive to Baron on time, and they were positioning to do it, but actually no, they're going to call it off. They're just standing around the pit. That would have been pretty crazy to go for the Baron right there.
Yeah, but at this point, is it one of those things that Purdue, I don't think they have to do it, but it would have been one of those ways to get back in the game. If they're able to get Baron for free, then it's just going to be so much easier for them to turtle on.
I really like their late game here. I don't think they need to go too wild here. You know, I think they can give up this Baron, potentially, with, keeping just their bot side intact. But they have the Orianna, they have a Caitlyn, they have the frontline tank in Nautilus, who's just going to get tougher and tougher to kill. So they definitely have, the components that you need to win late game team fights. and I don't think they need to get too panicky here.
Couple of big ticket items coming out. We do see both Thieves and Score both picking up the GA. So now Minnesota does have to realize that as these fights go on, that there is going to be 2 lives on both Score and Thieves. So they had to kill Thieves twice, which is going to be difficult. And they have to realize that if they go all in on Score, they actually might not put her down for good. So as this goes on, we'll have to see if how those items do work out. Because sometimes when you go GA on an AD carry, it just keeps you alive for a little bit. You come back up and you just get blown up right away. So,
but with how the team fights have been going, he's often killed right in the middle of his team by nutters. So certainly a situation where a GA could be useful. He's very rarely the last person standing when they lose a team fight. You know, he has been the first one to die, and that's exactly the situation where GA will be of great use. So I think it's a smart pickup for sure. Thieves, on the other hand, he has been, the last kill a couple times.
He's just going to be more of a nuisance now.
Yeah. Yeah, even tougher to kill. So can't criticize him too much on that. He can't waste it, as you said.
Teleport coming in from Central Time.
Baron.
Yeah, I think this is the right play for them because they will be able to win a fight if it starts off, if anything happens. Because with those GAs, it is going to lack a little bit of damage coming out from Score. So they are just going to start this right now. Score is going to show up, and so is Earrox. The Corruption Arrow is going to miss, though. So Nutter is being blown up. Score is going to be on a killing spree there, as this might actually be Purdue's fight. Cat in the Hat is going to be chunked down with that ultimate coming in from Malzahar. The Zonius is going to come in, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything off that. Score, though, gets jumped on by Central Time. He is able to pick up the kill, and Score's GA was already popped, so he is going to go down. Central Time now running away from Earrox and Fredo is going to be able to get away, and somehow Cat in the Hat is still alive, chunking down Thieves now at this point. Thieves trying to turn around as he has teammates with him, but here comes Central Time on that Stand United, basically forced to use that taunt away, and Dewey Daddy here just wasn't really able to get the right positioning there. And that's going to be...
Score ended up dying, but that GA did exactly what it was supposed to do. Nutters was not able to find any sort of assassination. Actually changed targets onto Gungu, but Oriana is a much tougher target to kill. Shield herself, speed herself up. She can escape that, and she did. So they turned around on the Score. They picked up the kill, or the first kill, but he was able to get back up and just push that team fight more in Purdue's favor here. So I don't know what the final tally was, but I absolutely believe that's a kill advantage to Purdue, and that just kind of puts a pause on this game. Their Nexus turret was severely chunked, but it's alive, so it could regen, and the gold hasn't gone over. So they didn't really lose anything there, and they just keep, a pause on this game as much as possible.
Yeah, and they only got one GA popped. I believe Thief still has his, and this game is now still in their grasp.
Important one, though.
They got the important one, Scores was definitely the more important one, but almost full item already.
Purdue can wait for that to come back up before fighting again, but with how aggressive Minnesota can be, that's far from a guarantee.
And especially how both of the big objectives, Baron and Elder Drake, are both up right now. So it seems like both teams are going to prioritize Baron at this point, though.
Baron is pretty much always the priority, I think, just based on duration alone. It's so hard to make use of Elder Drake, as Final Moments is getting caught here.
Yeah, can he get to his team? The Realm Warp is going to do quite a bit. It is going to get him away. Nice job by Cat in the Hat to protect his support. And we do see that Purdue is going to back off, needing to protect that bot side. They do get their inhibitor back, though. So Cat in the Hat was able to get that bot lane inhibitor, but Minnesota wasn't able to get anything off of that.
Yeah, not yet, as the inhibitor has respawned. There are some minions there, and again, there was a lot of damage there, and it will take a while for that Nexus turret to regen. It's still at about a third in terms of health, so if they sneak someone in there, they could take it down, give them a little more gold, and a little more, or open the Nexus up a little more for future visiting. But you're right, Purdue is doing exactly what they need to do. They're just slowing this game down, making Minnesota think twice before doing anything crazy, starting any fights. Unfortunately, that pick on Final Moments didn't work out, but it stopped Minnesota from really forcing anything.
Yeah, exactly. And this gold lead has stayed the same for the past couple of minutes, too. So Minnesota just wasn't able to extend their goal lead into more advantages. Yes, they were able to get an inhibitor, but once that inhibitor is down, that gives you so much map pressure that you should be able to get more objectives off of that. And there's still tier 2 towers in both mid and top that they weren't able to take. They kind of all in on that Baron attempt that didn't go in their favor. And ever since then, Purdue, they had the wave clear. They have the vision around Baron, and Minnesota just wasn't able to get anything off of that. Central Time, though, in this bot side, might be able to get the inhibitor again.
One thing that's interesting to note here, typically when you are a team, who's behind, you want to stall, wait till everyone gets 6 items because, the other team will get 6 items first. But the first 6-item player in this game has still been Score. Mm-hmm. He's still the gold leader. Actually, sorry, no, Cat in the Hat does have more gold, but he was the first 6 items. So anyone else is catching up to Score before they start catching up to Minnesota. So they're going to force this Baron again. It didn't work for them last time.
But it's already still extremely low at 3,000 health. There's the trigger being pulled, and Nutters is going to go down. So that is the jungler for Minnesota already gone. Gungu not going to go down as Central Time tried everything to go on to that mid laner. But there's the corruption arrow landing, the cleanse coming in. But Score is able to live. He's going to drop, though, as DougFD picks up the kill. Can they get the return kill, though? Can they get the re-engage? Purdue just trying to live here. The Realm Warp going to come in with the Zonias. Perfect timing there as he's able to get away. But
I hate that mechanic. I'm going to be on it.
Might be drop. Yeah, I think Final Moments is going to drop here from Eero because he doesn't have any. Oh no, he has both summoner spells.
To kill.
Yeah, he's going to be able to live, especially he's going into Cat in the Hat here. That Lulu's going to live, but yeah, I don't agree with that either. Like Zonia is just supposed to be untargetable, and I believe that Realm Warp should still
exactly.
Not work with that.
You're supposed to be invulnerable, so I don't mind with Realm Warp completing and sending off your teammates.
Yeah.
But if you're in Zonia's, you should not be traveling with your Realm Warp. It bothers me a lot.
Yeah, I do agree with that too. And I'm trying to think if there's any other mechanic like that.
It's a smart thing to do.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna be like, oh, Cat in the Hat, why are you doing that? It's like if it's in the game, definitely
you're using
use
a bug, you're banned.
Yeah, I'm more mad at Riot for allowing that.
Yeah, it's been around for a bit. Everyone's known about this, and they haven't fixed it. Bothers me a lot. But that's that's Riot's business. We'll get back to the game at hand. We're still at exactly 4,000 gold difference here. But again, more and more players on Minnesota are going to be hitting that 6-item cap first and just giving more time for Purdue to catch up. And I do believe, again, we've seen that these team fights have gotten harder and harder for Minnesota, and I don't believe that's a trend that's going to stop. Mm-hmm. I think, talking 2 full-item teams, I think Purdue gets the edge there with the right executed team fights. Yeah, as Nutters, it's going to be really hard for them to find a way to participate in these team fights when they have a Malzahar support. You just say, hey, I pressed R.
Drake taken by Minnesota, too. There's Nutters back there while they had full control over it, and so they just took it. And now, at this point, Minnesota can't fight because
they use Stand United.
Yeah, Stand United's already gone. I think they tried to go in there. They didn't realize how fast Score could take that dragon.
They did try to use the Nutters Central Time combination, but they didn't get a look they wanted. So they pulled off and just burned that pretty crucial ultimate here. The Score's GA is back up, which will make it really hard to win this next team fight. And I almost think they have to give up this Baron. They have a pretty intact base here. They have some towers they can give up. The gold is not a significant difference. They're not... Again, everyone's closing in on Max, so
Nutters probably going to go for the steal, and he gets it! Nutters, with the hero play, is going to be able to steal the Baron, but they're going to continue this fight. They're not going to disengage. They're actually going forward, but they already lose 2 members. They have to try to run away. DougFD is going to be able to get out, but his support Final Moments is going to drop, so it cost 3 members, but Nutters was at least able to stop the Baron from being taken. But now, can they protect their base? It's going to be 3v5 now in favor of Purdue.
Again, if you stop the Baron, that's not such a big deal. Gone are the days where Baron gives you like a huge combat advantage so you can turn a fight immediately just by taking it. It's now obviously more objective focused, and when you have 3 extra members, you still have the objective edge here as Score is going to get a kill on DougFD here.
Yeah, DougFD drops.
They might be able to push in for the win. That may be a bit much as they are fairly low, but they're definitely going to get a mid inhibitor here.
I really like the steal coming up from Nutters, but I don't like the resulting team fight afterwards. I don't know why they continue on that. They had to realize that there's still that dragon buff on Minnesota. You can always go for a steal and just sacrifice your jungler. He still had flash at the time, so he could have stolen it and tried to get away. But
maybe
it's just one of those where the fight afterwards, you really overextended. You actually went into Purdue's jungle to try to go for that.
I feel like a lot of these steals are the pressure all around. You know, the jungler gets distracted when Nutters jumps in. You can't just have Nutters blind jump in. You need those people kind of messing with people's minds, and then when the objective is off the table, now you have a whole bunch of people looking to kill you for stealing your Baron. So, yeah. Again, I felt the play there was give up that Baron. They didn't have the positioning on it. The Elder Drake was in the pockets of Purdue, and Purdue's been doing really well in the team fights recently, and most importantly, Stand United was on cooldown. It was not really a contestable objective, and they paid dearly for it as they lost most of their base.
Yeah, so, and the gold is still in their favor, but not the base. It's in shambles at this point. And yeah, at this point of the game, this gold lead really doesn't matter. If it was maybe 10,000, then there could be a little bit of a significance there, because then your 6 items, your opponents are not. But 1,000, 45 minutes in, doesn't mean anything. But Dewey Daddy going to get locked down. This might be the kill that they need. Dewey Daddy, though, because of the redemption in the Stand United, is going to be able to live, and this might actually be the fight for Minnesota. They're going to continue on this Frito, and the backside is going to be chunked down. Final Moments gets himself a 5th kill on this Lulu, and now this is going to be a 5v4, but Dewey Daddy still relatively healthy, and it is that Ocean Drake helping out. Nice taunt going on to Gungu and Score, but Score has the damage to do so much, but Gungu getting chunked down with that piercing arrow. Not going to drop just yet, though. There is going to be Central Time's GA being popped. Nutters goes in, not able to find the kill, and Nutters going to drop by Gungu. Wow. Central Time trying to get something. He gets the GA at least, but Cat in the Hat coming in. Does he have the damage? Just not yet. But nice hook there on Gungu with the shockwave, dealing damage to 2 people. Finishing the kill. Cat in the Hat, the last alive. That's going to be the ace for Score, and with the minions already pushed, that's going to be game.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to be game. Good pick there, starting that off on Dewey Daddy. Erox was not in the picture, though, and they were able to turn that around, and I can't remember who they killed off, but they turned it to start, but then Cat in the Hat could never find a way in onto that backline of Gungu, of Score, and it was Erox showing up just in time to basically take Cat in the Hat out of that fight, meaning Central Time was all alone in that backline, getting beat up by Score and Gungu, and that ends the game.
Yeah, that was just a massive team fight for Purdue, and Purdue showed that when they were behind for the majority of the game, that they were able to come back, get the rotations that they needed to win those games. And there's just a lot of team fights there where, in my opinion, they shouldn't have won, but they just kept winning consistently, and it cost Minnesota there.
Yeah, it really did seem like the game turned on the GAs. Like we mentioned, the GAs getting picked up. It's going to be harder to zero out Score right at the start of the fight, and he was able to survive for a long duration of the fights, and that really is the tilting point. I would imagine he is the lead in damage of the game.
Yes.
Actually, behind,
no, it was Dewey
Dewey.
Daddy. Yeah.
But
so that was one of these things that those Malzahar, or not Malzahar, sorry, the Varus Qs were doing so much damage. But the one thing about the lethality ADCs is that they're so strong because they just need 1 or 2 items and they spike right away. They have a much earlier spike than the regular ADCs such as Caitlyn, but they fall off very late game, and that's what we saw here, was that Dewey Daddy wasn't able to finish these kills with those piercing arrows, and Score with that GA was just consistently able to deal out so much damage in this fight, and at that end there, that's what they needed. Score was able to live long enough, he was able to deal a lot of damage, getting a lot of kills for himself, and then Gungu, holding on to that shockwave until the final moment, was able to get himself those kills to win the game for the team.
Yep, you're absolutely right. It was a crucial team fight. They started it off themselves, actually. Unfortunately, their jungler wasn't there. And it turns out Lulu makes champions a lot harder to kill than they appear. But again, just they had the team fight edge. I think their composition was better for those late game team fights, and they played it probably as well as they could have in that situation. And they pulled it out.
All right, I'll block out the screen quick as I put in the tournament code. Don't want people to see it.
Oh, do I get that?
It should be the same tournament code.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's why I blacked out the screen there, because I had to scroll through our nonsense that we had so that it wasn't going to be shown on stream, but I had to still scroll up to get to that. So we're going to see this game go by. And at this point now, Minnesota, they had their backs against the wall. They need a win here in order to force it to a game 3, because if they lose, as we said it as we started the last game, that if they lose, Northwestern has a big chance here to make it into the playoffs with a win. Not 100% sure who they're facing, though.
Yeah. Oh, that was going to be my question. Yeah. Certainly, they're probably not going to be playing Purdue, who is still the top-ranked team. So, yeah, I'm curious. Let's see if I can find...
Just by process of elimination.
I don't know where the full schedule even is, really.
I think it's going to be Wisconsin. Because it can't be Minnesota and it can't be Purdue. They already faced Illinois, and I believe they faced Iowa. So that's why I want to say that it is Wisconsin is their next game. Not 100% sure on that.
So Wisconsin is actually tied with Purdue, so could be an equal challenge.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing it's a 3-way tie for that first spot, but by the way they're putting it in order, I'm assuming that all the ties have been figured out, and that's why they're in that order.
Or it could just be...
I'm giving Riot a little bit of credit here and saying that that's the order because that's their first spot. So regardless, if Purdue wins this, they'll either be first, second, or third, depending on how those tiebreakers go. Not sure if Riot does tiebreakers by, just play one game, winner of that game gets it, or if they go by, they probably go by who had the more 2-0 victories. Who had the least amount of losses, I guess would be the easiest way to say that.
I think that's probably correct in the best of 3 situations. In a head-to-head, it's usually just who won that match.
Yeah.
But in a 3-way tie, it gets much more complicated.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, if you're University of Minnesota, obviously, you don't want to put your fate in someone else's hands. You want to be in the playoffs. You got to win.
Yeah. And this is the only way for them to guarantee them. Of course, that is if saying that... the way it's written on that the tie, that it is already considering the tiebreakers.
Yeah, they could be setting up a tiebreaker match with Northwestern. I don't really know.
Well, I would assume they would just go whoever won that head-to-head matchup.
Yes.
To give them the advantage. But that's just assumptions by me.
More fleshed out.
But I know there is a schedule somewhere, but I remember how hard it was to find.
Somewhere in the depths of the internet. They just have the Monday games listed. So
I remember I had to actually go and find it somewhere. It was on another website for some odd reason.
So Ohio State.
I found it.
Oh, I was gonna say Ohio State and University of Michigan are playing 2 days from now on Monday. I think that's the biggest rivalry in the Big Ten.
Oh, I was right. It is Northwestern and Wisconsin. So Wisconsin going to be fighting to keep possibly their number 1 spot, or depending on how that tiebreaker goes, or they're going to hope maybe allow Northwestern to get that playoff spot. So it's going to be weird because if you see, it's a lot different than the East Division, where you have that curve that you would usually see. You have the definite top 2, the definite bottom 2, and the 2 ties in the middle, which makes sense. That is what a standard graph would look like from 6 people.
5 teams in some sort of tie in the West.
Yeah, it's
compared
ridiculous
to just 2 in the
West.
East. Yeah.
Because you have the top 3 people all losing with someone, and it makes it a lot more confusing if those 3 teams all lost to one of those top 3 teams. Because then the tiebreaker you can't say is strength of schedule, you lost to the team that only won twice. That's why you're not in there. Who knows of what happens. But yeah, right now in the West, the only team out of playoff contention is Iowa. They weren't able to win a game this season so far, so they'd be the ones who are not going to be able to make it to the playoffs, but they could still play spoilers in their next game. They are going to be facing... Iowa is going to be facing Illinois. And that's one of those games where that stops one of those tiebreakers from happening. If you play spoilers, it's really impressive.
Yeah, definitely playing one of the top teams is tough, but you got to find motivation. You don't want to be a team that just gets 0 points.
Granted, that might be another thing where who knows? Northwestern and Wisconsin might have already played, so this might not mean anything. Because that's the thing about playing this, is that the games could have been played already, so Northwestern might have already lost. But we'll have to see. They're talking about it in the chat right now, and I'm just like,
they're talking about it. So no one's really sure, it seems, what the situation is, but they're suggesting this may be a meaningless game, or is that just for Minnesota? I think it still matters for Purdue securing that number 1, obviously.
All right, so they let us know. So Iraq did lose to Illinois. So Purdue lost to Illinois. Then I'm guessing Illinois lost to Wisconsin, and then Wisconsin lost to Purdue, and that's why that 3-way tie thing is going on in that top 3 people. So that just makes the playoffs a lot more interesting when it gets to there.
Northwestern beat Wisconsin, actually.
Oh, he did?
That's what they're saying. So now I'm more confused than I was before.
Yeah, because they keep messing up, too, on the names. See, you guys thought last time in the Iowa versus Minnesota matchup that we kept mixing up the names. Like, this is... Everyone does it. It's not just us.
Yeah, but we haven't messed up one at all tonight.
No, we didn't.
I'm proud of us.
Same. We jinxed ourselves, but I'm still proud of ourselves. For at least the first game, no mishaps.
I'm still Canadian, so I still have my excuse. I'm going to use that excuse every time I mess up. American college sports are weird. There we go. I said it. Fun to cast.
Yeah, this is one thing I'm loving about the esports scene right now, is bringing that college aspect into it. And hey, Canadian teams are getting into it. Like,
yes,
we saw the game earlier with Penn State and the Toronto team.
I think there's a lower ceiling in terms of the growth potential. Mm-hmm. Comparing the NCAA to Canadian college sports, it's not even close. So, yeah, we got some great teams. I guess Ryerson better than Penn State, and obviously UBC is a very strong, I think the best college team in North America.
Yeah, it looks like they are ready.
I think there's another team that's supposed to be good in Canada. I don't know. Is it UOT?
Toronto? Yeah.
University of Toronto?
I think Toronto and UBC are the two big ones in just esports in general. It doesn't matter what esport it is. It always seems like UBC and Toronto are always amazing.
Pretty sure those are our two biggest universities. So that
probably.
Makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense that they are going to be the two biggest, that they're going to be the two best.
Yeah. U of T is definitely the biggest, but I'm pretty sure UBC is up there. So Katarina Cassiopeia?
Did we see that last time? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think I would have remembered that. I thought it was
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I think Thresh was our yesterday's games. They were consistently banned.
They definitely banned threshing in final moments. Last game. I don't remember what the third ban was. It might have been Cassiopeia. I feel like I would have remembered. But Jason Graves, that's the same.
Yeah, it seems like they're just going to the same bans. The game was so close last time that I don't think they have to actually ban anything out. Nothing really stood out in that game. Everybody played very well.
Really, actually, you know what? I mean, I was gonna say there wasn't one single thing that really turned the game, but certainly scores Caitlyn.
Yeah, that might be one of the things, but
something that got a huge when you get Flame Horizon, maybe you consider taking that out. But now they're going to prioritize the Rise this time around. They got it last time in, I think, the third round of picks.
Now they was in the second
round. So they're not going to grab the
Varus and Rise first, I believe. But yeah, they give up both Varus and Malzahar, which is two things I don't like. We saw how aggressive Malzahar was and how much of a bully he can be in lane. Granted, they still have the Lulu counter, which is fine, though. But you're giving up the Varus after you ban Jhin. This is the one thing I've seen before today as well during Penn State, was that you ban Jhin but don't first pick Varus. It doesn't make sense to me of doing that on the blue side.
I completely agree. They're not significantly divergent in terms of power or play style.
Yeah.
I feel like denying score Jhin just to deny yourself Varus in the end. You either, take one, let them take the other, or, deny them both. Because I don't know. I mean, maybe Gungu is a huge Rise player, and a monstrous Rise, you need to take that away from him. But I don't know. I didn't see the Rise being a priority compared to the Varus. So we'll see if they have something in mind to counter out. Certainly Rengar is someone who can prey on low mobility marksmen. But that's far from a guarantee.
Yeah, this is.
They're going to pick up the Twitch here. This is interesting.
Oh. This is very interesting. Twitch is something that you haven't seen in the longest time, so going up against that Varus might have a little bit of a rough time about being poked out, especially in the early game, so that is something we'll have to keep in mind as we watch this game go on, but I'm still not over this whole you ban Jhin but don't first pick Varus, especially like...
One thing they've done is they've removed any chance of being outscaled this time.
True. You can't get outscaled between a Twitch and a Rise. There's no outscaling that combo right there.
Yeah.
Unless you go Viger. You have to go what? Viger, Scion, and Nasus. Just the three things that infinity scale. I think Scion still does that, right? Every time he kills a minion, he still gets health.
Yeah, but he's not a super late game kit, so it doesn't matter how tanky he is if he can never get to anyone by the late game.
That's true, yeah.
Dewey Daddy gonna pick or think about picking the Soraka here. Certainly something to help Twitch through the laning phase. It's going to be a Karma support likely on the other side for Freddo. Combining with that Varus to just make a brutal poke lane. So picking someone who can sustain through that is a reasonably good decision.
Yeah, I feel like this is also just taking away from Final Moments too, is not allowing that Karma Twitch combo, which if you're able to protect your Twitch, there's just nothing that the Twitch can't do. He's going to be able to get so many kills.
Lulu also works really well with Twitch.
True. So
adding extra just defensive powers on someone who is a hyper carry. And this is interesting. Could they do both?
No, they're not going to. They were not going to do that.
Because this is exactly who I would have figured for a Twitch. We know that they're both Central Time and Final Moments are comfortable on Chen and Lulu respectively, and giving them an 80 carry that makes much more sense with these two champions is certainly a smart decision, and now they have the scaling edge. Absolutely. I don't think it's a champion in League of Legends that could be picked here to outscale this team.
It's going to be a mid laner, right?
I believe so.
Viger is the only thing I can think of, and that's just because of the potential of getting that infinity farm going on, but I don't know if I would like the Viger versus Rise matchup too much.
You'd need, like, Season 2 Karthus.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Or Victor.
So they're not going to try it. They're going to go for earlier strength, getting that mid-game team fight power. And that's exactly what they need to do. I think, capitalizing on that Varus power spike you mentioned, lethality, 80 carries in general spike much earlier than the auto attack based ones, complementing that Varus with someone like a Victor is obviously a different win condition for them this time. Last time they really had to wait to get those late game team fights. This time they're going to be the team trying to end before the other team scales up.
Yeah, definitely. And this is going to be a very interesting matchup between the Rise and the Victor. I like the Victor pickup because they did need some sort of wave clear. That was one thing they were allowed. Well, no, never mind. Varus is on the team. Never mind about the wave clear. They have plenty of that. They didn't need any more. But now if one of them goes down, they're going to have additional more. So
yeah.
The one thing that's good against or with Purdue here is that if they go behind, yes, they're going to have to somehow get back in the game because of the scaling. They can't allow that to go to late game, but they're at least going to be able to protect their towers with the wave clear that they have with all the champions that have it on there. We saw even Thieves last time with those Riptides was able to 1v2 for the longest time, and I wonder if this game is going to be as much as a Clown Fiesta as we saw in the last game.
It did get pretty crazy a couple times. Really, just that mid game where Minnesota actually managed to get a pretty solid lead. I think Purdue got a bit cocky, thought that they were more invincible than they were. Usually after a game as crazy as that, it settles down. You don't double down on the
I'd love to
craziness.
see a double down. Just
yeah,
we saw like what? We saw was it 5 kills in 6 minutes or like 6 kills in 7 minutes? Let's have 12 kills at that time. 6 and
7. It was
So let's have 10 and 12 kills at both 6 and 7 minutes. That's what we need.
Unlikely.
It's very unlikely. I want to see like any high tier team play, like not solo queue. If you could find a game that has done that, And that, like, ULOL challenger scene, if there's 12 kills in 6 minutes, I would love to see it.
There's been some games. There's definitely been some LCS games, I think, up at that level, which have had some pretty crazy starts.
And there's so many games where, especially in the EU scene back when Froggen was still in there, where it would be like 12 kills in the entire game.
For a bit.
Or sometimes it would either be that, it would either be, this game's going to have either 60 kills or 8.
Yeah. And it's going to be 20 minutes or 80.
Yeah. And that's one thing, like, one of my favorite teams watching was always CLG EU with, like, Frog and Snoopy, all those people. And, like, the one thing I hated about that team was that once it started, you're always like, all right, hope I have some snacks, get some drinks. This is going to be a long haul. This game won't end in the next hour at least. It's a quick game.
I'll come back in half an hour.
Yeah.
That's when a real game begins.
Okay, come back in a half hour? Oh, it's 1-1. I only missed 2 kills. What a surprise.
Yep. Hey, CLGEU is slightly behind in gold, but they're stalling the game.
What a surprise.
This is unforeseen.
Oh, CLG EU is up 5k, but they're turtling. What a surprise.
To be fair, I believe it was DreamHack, the game against Moscow 5.
Oh, that was
20,000 gold behind.
That was
to
insane.
pull out the victory.
That game is probably still why I'm in love with esports right there. Is just because when your team so far behind is able to come back and win, it's just insane. And then Season 2 Worlds happens, and they kind of get screwed over with the disconnects. But hey, that was the game at the time.
Yeah.
What was it, like a 65-minute game? They're pushing for the win. They got a kill. Disconnects. It's like, oh,
no
you gotta be
such
kidding me.
thing as an offline client.
Or their new, whatever the name of their new tool is. Actually, have you seen that tool? They're actually, if a bug happens, they're able to rewind to the point of the game before that bug happened. Yeah, it is about time. They needed that. But as we say
that's
our stalling...
not actually that remarkable for a game like this.
No, it should have been in for the longest time. But our stalling right now is going to be done. We're going to start that 5-minute timer. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes for this game. And this is going to be Minnesota basically playing for potentially their playoff lives, and Purdue playing to get their #1 spot in the West Division. So we'll see you guys in about 4:50. right, everybody, we are going to be back with this game. This is going to be a big game versus Purdue and UMN, which is the University of Minnesota, because the winner of this game, if Purdue wins, they're going to lock in that number 1 seed, I believe, for the West Coast, and Minnesota playing for the potential of their playoff lives. My name is Rudy. I'm joined here by Doug, and this is going to be a great game. So let's see, Doug. You're still muted. Not sure if you remember that or not.
No, I was actually AFK.
Oh, okay.
I thought I had more time than I did.
That was my bad.
How far are we into the game right now?
I just got to a minute as we say that Thief is going to get jumped on, and that's going to be first blood going over to Minnesota. Very cheeky play there.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Giving them the first blood, as we do see that Doug wasn't here for that. So I'm at 110 right now.
Now I'm tilted. No, I actually, I don't know. I guess it
happens. I've done it before too.
Don't know what 5 minutes means. It means something different in America.
Oh yeah, you're using metric.
Where we
minutes,
use metric
right?
time up here.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
So all right, Nutters gets first blood there on Thieves. Absolutely. I think right now that's a really good champion to get that gold on, more so than anyone else. It's going to be Nutters trying to carry them through this early and mid game scenario.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things is he was able to get a second jungle item, so he gets additional gold, additional experience, and that's just going to really help out. Let's see. Yeah, it's tooth and nail, so yeah, they're two completely different passives, so that's going to really help out, but we do see that there's a little bit from Purdue here, just a little bit of a cheeky play, just doing a little bit of damage, though, over to Final Moments. Not too much. I feel like they waited on it a little bit. They've been able to do more, but as I say that, Final Moments is already chunked down to 200 health.
I think they did enough. Final Moments is going to have to use at least 2 biscuits there to really stay in this. And he's going to need another arrow. This is the second time we've seen a Varus start piercing arrow. It looks like that's just the thing to do now. It means you have faith in your abilities, and so far that's paying off huge as Final Moments takes another hit. Lulu does not deal well with poke against her. Obviously, she's a very strong poke champ herself, but counter poke is always something she struggles against, and we saw it right there. And when you do that bush camp level 1, you don't generally want to take tower hits, but when you do that bush camp level 1, it gives you that first burst, and they're utilizing that in a big way right now.
Yeah, Cat had here and Gundu. Yeah, those Varus are going to do so much, but we're going to see Irox here in the mid lane. Flashing over, though, to Nutters. This might actually be a turnaround kill, as Nutters is doing so much damage over to that Kha'Zix. Going to be able to pick up that kill. Almost a 1v1 there. Great turnaround there by Nutters. That's 2 kills for him already.
It's always super dangerous to chase into bushes with gangs. You just never know what's going to jump out, and often it's a Rengar. Yeah. So, unfortunate that they decided to keep going there. They should have just taken the Ghost off the bat. Okay, he ghosted, we're good, we'll come back later, but chasing into the bush, giving Nutters now a second kill, continuing to grow his edge over Erox. That's really, really useful. Let's put it that way.
And also,
they don't have super strong lanes here, but having a strong jungler who can now basically pick where he wants to go for the rest of the laning phase, you can't buy that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and he already has 2 stacks on his Bone Tooth necklace. So, granted, it doesn't do too much because it's more of a scaling item, but still, being able to get that consistently in the beginning is just going to help him as this game gets longer. So, I believe what is it?
The later stacks get stronger and stronger. You're right.
It is, at this point, 3% bonus AD damage. So, not too much at this stage, but it scales up to 15
or 12? The 20. We
both
underestimated.
Wow.
Yeah, so definitely more and more as it goes on. We're going to keep track of it this time, right?
Yeah, sure. It's Nautilus and
Gungu, Score, and Fredo. Yeah. Well, the ones who don't have deaths.
Oh, yeah, it's Gungu, Score, and Fredo.
It's easy right now, but that's why we got to figure this out.
Hopefully, I'm not saying this as a Minnesota fan, but if the next kill Nutters has, I'm just hoping it's on Gungu. It's going to make it so much easier for us if it goes right down the line.
Yeah, just go down the list.
Yeah.
Gungu, then Score, then Fredo.
It's like Rengar. This is how he does his shopping list. He just goes one after another right down the list, checking them off. And Gungu is going to be next on that, or possibly that dragon as he's hovering around and just picking up the Scuttle Crab for now. It's an Earth Dragon, so they're not really putting too much priority on it just yet. Because it's not one of those dragons where you get immediate satisfaction from it. It's one of those that you actually need to be sieging in order to get that bonus damage, or you're actually going for another dragon or something like that.
I don't know if either Rengar or Rek'Sai are going to be super capable at soloing that. I think
Rengar
we don't have a Kha'Zix. I don't know if he have quite the same sustain level as a Kha'Zix. I'm not sure about that.
His sustain's pretty good. It's not as good as Warwick or not as good as Kha'Zix, of course, but it's still massive that he would. I feel like at this stage, for how head he is, he would be able to solo it.
Maybe it's possible, but certainly it's always risky. Rengar does not have an easy jump over a ledge or anything. He jumps onto people, and that's not so useful when trying to escape. Central Time, not surprisingly, doing very well in this lane on the Shen. He could get a kill here. I don't think he'll finish it off. No.
Yeah, he needed to turret dive there, and one of the worst champions, if not the absolute worst champion to turret dive, is a Nautilus. Luckily, it is a pre-6 Nautilus, so that is one of the 4 forms of CC not on the table just yet, but still, you don't want to go in and turret dive Nautilus.
They're making a play.
Yeah, I'm loving this. They're going to be using the invisibility coming out from DougFD, so great job chunking down score already, but he's forced to flash and heal away, so that's a lot of summoners supposed to already bone, but DougFD's just going to drop. Thief is going to be able to pick that. Final Moments might be the next target, so they just didn't have the damage. Nice disengage out of PU as they pick up 2 kills as well. Can they get another one as Central Time does get locked down? The Q not doing enough just yet. Frito takes another turret shot, going to be very low, but they equal out the kills here for Purdue.
I feel like the temptation to pull off the classic submarine move was just too strong that they really didn't stop to think, can we actually kill anyone? This is still a level 4 Twitch. He doesn't have his ultimate. His damage is more limited, and Karma is a tough champion to gank.
And you went
He's countered the teleport. They were able to turn it around. They're going to get a tower straight up here. They really needed to bring Nutters down if they were going to commit to that. And they didn't do that. They didn't fully commit to it. Cat in the Hat wasn't on the way down with his Realm Warp. Nutters wasn't in the area. They were both on the top side.
Yeah, that was just too much of a force.
They didn't bring
what
they need to bring.
Nutters is going to get locked down here. The Realm Warp is going to keep him alive. He does get away. Great job from Cat in the Hat, showing how much he knows of this champ, helping. He helped Lulu. He helped Rengar get out. He's also going down the line of seeing how many people he could help with his Realm Warp. And Fredo and Cat out here having a little bit of battle trying to get that pink ward out, but this is great roaming coming out of for Purdue. They're just going for another tower for themselves. They already have 1,000 gold lead, and they're just going to get more.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that they obviously know how to do. They did this last game. They get an early tower. They immediately move that pressure somewhere else to keep the objectives flowing. Score is now topside. Central Time's going to try to duel him, but no level lead here for the top laner means this is, not working out.
Yeah, especially with Corruption Arrow going to be up, but he isn't going to... Oh, no, he already used it. Never mind. So,
he used that to actually start it.
The 6v6 is not good at all. Like, this shouldn't be happening where the top laner is the same level as the ADC, so this is going to really help out Score as this game goes on.
Again, when you have a jungler 2 kills up on the other guy, all of the gold lead is on him, and you choose to make plays without him, that's just, not playing to your strengths at all, which obviously leads to you getting double killed and giving up the first tower.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And potentially the second right here.
Yeah, gold lead doesn't mean anything if the champion that has the gold lead is not there.
Is somewhere else. Yeah, exactly. They are going to actually call off the siege early. Nutters and DougFD were headed up to this lane, so they're going to try to defend the snowball here. They're not going to try to counter out any push by leaving their bot lane on the bot side. They're just going to say, 1 tower down is enough. We're going to match your switch and just deal with it. I think that's the right decision right now. Again, just slowing the pace of this game as much as possible will favor Minnesota as they are behind, and they do have a very strong late game composition.
Yeah, you definitely said it. They are just trying to get to the late game as quick as possible. But with these kills going over in favor of Purdue, it might take a bit of time now to get there, especially when the majority of your kills are on your jungler, if all of them are. Granted, at least Rise was participating in those 2 as well, but we see that those Qs coming out from Score is just doing so much work.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, 30 CS up. I think this is actually better for Dewey Daddy than it was last time. At this point, and they're going for another play, this time with Nutters.
Yeah, this actually might work for them as the taunt's going to come through, but we do see Gungu's going to be here in time, but it's going to be a little bit too late. Realm Warp going to come in, but he's not going to take it because that was going to be directly on top of Gungu, but they are able to get the kill, so that's going to narrow that goal lead to 500, but what is happening on the top side? His final moments does get collapsed on. This teleport isn't going to be completed. It seems like they do want it, as Score is already checked out solo. Can they find a nice taunt flash coming out from Central Time, but can he find the final damage? He can. He's going to be able to pick that up, and they are going to win this 2v1, or this 2v2, if it does continue. But here comes Cat in the Hat to make it a 3v2, but he's just going to be chunked down. Gungu now here as well, just a little bit of an overextension coming out from Minnesota as Purdue is capitalizing on this, and that is just going to be in their favor. Just a little bit, again, overextension by Minnesota is going to cost them.
Yeah, a rare misplay there from Cat in the Hat as he just tries to tunnel too hard on Fredo, and ignoring the low health Rek'Sai right in front of him on Erax. Erax was able to pop him up, and they were able to burst him down as he was really low health. You know, you can't really pick your targets when you're at 25% health. You just take what's in front of you, and he didn't choose to do that. Gave one kill back, and that will give them another tower here. So after all of that, the great start there from Minnesota, the great collapse on the dive, they still give up the extra objective, and they're 2,000 gold behind.
Yeah, and this is also, if you look at the CS from the bot lane, again, it's at that 43 CS. Just Score, just able to bully Dewey Daddy so much and just show how good of an ADC he is.
I just finished saying it was doing much better for Dewey Daddy this time, and now the lead is just ballooned in the past 2 minutes. Just really rough. Yeah. I mean, they made a good play again, and then they just went too hard to try to salvage that tower dive. I don't even know if they want to make these plays. Like, they picked off the kill on Thieves, which was nice. But they opened themselves up elsewhere in a situation where they were behind a bunch of gold to a team that spikes much earlier, so it's going to be much stronger. And I wonder if they just save these globals from now on, just to say, okay, we wait till they make a move and try to counter it as best we can. Don't get crazy. Don't open up any side of the map for Purdue to make a play. And that's how they'll find their way back in this game. And just, again, slowing the pace down is important when you're a team comp that scales as well as they do.
Yeah, definitely say that, but Purdue with these roams is doing a great job getting these towers, and that Mountain Drake now going to help them take it even quicker. So Eero's, though, a little too far forward, is being chunked down. Luckily, he is pretty tanky, though, on that Rek'Sai, so they're going to be able to continue the siege, and this is going to be another tower. That's all the inhibitors, or all the outer towers for Minnesota's side already all down, and that's 3 for 0 in the towers, and it's showing that CS or that gold lead 2K already for Purdue. It's just going to go a lot higher. They're going to be able to snowball this because now they have complete control of the map with all these outers gone.
And once again, Minnesota's looking for something maybe here, but I don't know if they'll find it. Yeah, nothing going to be coming right yet. They may be able to counter the mid tower here, but it doesn't even look like they're going to commit to that. Cat in the Hat is such low life right now.
And not only that, but he doesn't have
for them right now.
A single source of AP from his items yet. He's just has those stacking items right now. As we say that, he finally gets a blasting wand, but that Rod of Ages is going to be delayed because he was really forced in getting that Negatron cloak.
Yep.
I feel like he could have went without that. I don't think we've been seeing him getting blown up too much besides that one fight. Yeah. I feel like he could have sacrificed that, unless he had to get that extremely early that we didn't see.
You're right. I don't know when he picked it up, but Gungu isn't like a super threat right now, and he's the only. Well, no, actually, that's not fair. I was gonna say he's the only significant source of magic damage, but Fredo is gonna be pretty strong himself. 103. You can't ignore the karma support, but yeah, it's not a big deal. Again, if you're a team that isn't looking to make plays over the next 10 minutes.
But as you say, that Cat in the
Hat gets cut out.
Going to get cut out, but he's going to be able to run away because of those Storm Raiders. But the siege is just continuing from Purdue. They are not letting up. 15 minutes in, and they're looking for their 4th tower. It's going to be a tier 2 here in the mid lane. Wow. It's already down to half health. This Earth Drake doing wonders, but his Eros a little too far forward. He's going to be chunked down, and here comes Nutters, able to pick up that kill. Central Time going to be in here as well. Can he find the lockdown? The fight is one continuing from Minnesota. Can Purdue disengage? It doesn't seem like that. A Gungu is going to drop as well. Nutters are just so far ahead at this point. Can he continue on this? His Thieves is going to drop as well. And now it's just going to be Score and Fredo here defending this tower. And that was at least his third bone tooth. It might have possibly been his fourth.
And they're going to go for more here, Cat in the Hat being found. I don't know if they really want this, but I think that could have gone so much better as Erox, started tanking that tower. But actually, I'm pretty sure Central Time just found one of the Shen glitches that have been in the game for like 20 years. He taunted just as his Stand United was supposed to complete and actually canceled his Stand United in place. So he taunted from where he was standing and not from where Nutters was, which is where he thought he was going to be taunting out from. So he ended up taunting in the air. And I think that was the bug showing up there. I don't think he deliberately canceled his Stand United.
Interesting.
So that could have been even better for Minnesota. It was just Erox going too deep. They wanted to tank that tower for some reason to take it out. And now they're slightly behind in gold.
Yeah, but we were saying how whenever Nutters got his next kill, we were hoping it was going to be on Gungu, and that's it. So he has 3 of the 5 done already, and it's just one after another. So Score is going to be the next on the Cat's mind. We'll have to see if he's going to go for that anytime soon. But gold lead, relatively equal, and it's one of these things where there's still a lot of that potential gold out of Minnesota on these outer towers. They just have to be able to do those sieges to pick up this just sitting gold that they don't have.
Yeah, the one thing about it is when you have a late game composition, just because you get an early gold lead does not mean you're stronger. Score is still going to spike earlier than Dewey Daddy is, though. If they catch him out, it doesn't really matter.
Almost Nutters' 4th shot as he's going to survive. Nutters, though, is trying to find the assassination, but not able to find a Dewey Daddy, though. Going to be chunked down because Score is still here, throwing down arrows in a safe position as Thieves is just going to chunk people down with a big front line there. And yeah, Purdue here able to defend their tower. Minnesota not able to siege there, and Score somehow living.
Yeah, they found Score out, tried to throw what they had on him, but he had flash, he got over the wall. Weren't able to quite finish that off, but that's fine. I honestly think the more you can keep Purdue on their heels, the better. Because, again, it's just a situation here where you take the team fights that you know you can win and don't try to go too crazy. They may have to give up this tower, though, because they have gotten themselves fairly low. Cat in the Hat, about at half health. Central Time does have Stand United available, but Nutters does not have his ultimate. So, yeah, they're just going to give up the turret, and that's a fine decision here because they're within 1,000 gold, which is about as good as they could expect for this situation. And as long as they keep their inhibitor line together, they should be fine. Giving up a second Mountain Drake would be a bit painful.
Yeah, I don't think they can do that. And you are seeing Nutters trying to position around there. You do see that the blast cone behind it, I believe, is still available. But yeah, so it looks like he's not going to go for the Desperation Steal. They are just going to give this up. So they are going to try to trade a mid tower for it. But yeah, 2 Mountain Drakes on the side of Purdue, a team that wants to try to end this quickly so that Minnesota's scaling team can't get there. This is basically the perfect dragon to get because it allows you to end the game much faster.
Yeah, I definitely think this isn't the team focused on picks. It's got some decent poke, but you're right. I think forcing the objectives, getting the team fights where they can, and just picking up more turrets is absolutely going to be what wins them this game. If it happens.
But right now, the game is going to be on the back of both Nutters and Central Time. 4-0-2 and 2-0-4 respectfully. Just doing so much work in this game. And as this game gets longer and longer, I really feel like Dewey Daddy is going to be able to really carry. He already has his Runan, still going with another dagger item, probably actually going into boots after that. So we'll have to see if he goes with, I don't think Blade of the Rune King
Blade
is
of the
good
Rune King next?
I think it's still fairly weak, though. I don't think 80 carries really get anymore.
Maybe. I don't really know what the standard Twitch build is. I don't believe Ghost Blade is on the Twitch menu anymore. That was a popular one.
Oh,
when
maybe
it had attack
speed.
I don't think so. It doesn't have attack speed anymore.
I think, ever since the attack speed was nerfed on it, well, by nerfed, completely removed.
Yeah.
Well, there's no bigger of a nerf than removing it, unless it gave you a debuff. That's the only way to nerf it farther, right?
You're not wrong.
Can you imagine, though, how the patch notes would be? Because you know how sassy Riot can be in their patch notes sometimes? Like it would say, like, sometimes, oh, this was removed.
Skarsgård's gone now, though.
Oh, that's right. Skarsgård, who is probably one of the most sassy members of Riot, is now gone.
I think he was the sole source of sass.
Do you think he had that on that business card? 100%, like it was Skarsgård, 100% of Riot's sass. Like,
it's quite possible. I'm not sure where he went off to, or if he just left to consider his options.
Yeah, it's like Iron Stylus. Like, what has happened to him ever since he left? There's a lot of writers that they leave to do bigger and better things, or just something new sometimes.
Sometimes those creative types just like a change of scenery.
Yeah.
You know? I've been here too long. This is boring.
This is no longer a challenge because, like, League of Legends, like, what's bigger than League right now in the esports scene? He's going off to make the new esport or something like that.
We're gonna have a team fight here, probably.
Yes, Nutters is going to come in and flash forward. He's going on to score. He wants that that fourth bone tooth necklace, but he's not going to be able to find it just yet. But a lot of damage is done. A lot of summoner spells blown on the side of PU, with only the flash and the ghost on the side of UMN blown. So it's going to be really good for them. They're just going to disengage here and try again the next time all that's up.
Yeah, honestly, good job by Purdue to not really commit to that team fight and just able to disengage that as well as possible. And now they can re-engage.
Re-engage on a Nutters. He has all the team's kills, and he's going to drop. So this is going to be a 5v4 without the Fed member. Central Time trying to go in the backside to get some kills. Cat in the Hat does pick up one, so the mid laner for PU is not going to be here with the Realm Warp coming back in. That's all around Erox. He gets a nice knockup, but he doesn't have the team with him. Nice flash away, but Dewey Daddy's going to pick up the kill onto the Twitch, but Cat in the Hat get himself a double kill, and that's going to be 2 for 3 in favor of Minnesota.
Yeah, that is really surprising. You would have thought that they would be able to pick that off after they started that fight, but Central Time is so strong. I think he had 3 people on him at one point, didn't even die in that fight, was able to basically, didn't kill Score, but removed him from the fight, essentially. Score, Fredo, and I want to say, was it Erox who was trying to peel on top of that? Were all there. They were able to stall long enough until Cat in the Hat realm warped the entire team on top of Thieves. Picked up a kill there. So really well played. Central Time is super strong right now. And yeah, that's the issue with the super hard poke champions, is that consistent damage to take down someone like Central Time is not there yet.
And you see, still only 3 kills on that Bone Tooth necklace, so Nutters there only having, I think it was, what, 9% increase? Well, I say only 9%.
7%, I think.
7%? Let's see here.
Yes.
7%, yeah. So, oh, wow, that really scales up. That's correct. It basically doubles each way. It's close to, at least. So,
yeah.
7% bonus AD at this stage of the game is actually going to be able to do quite a bit. And now that when he's going to be able to find those kills, that's just a burst of AD that he's going to gain with that Bone Tooth necklace.
Yeah, and again, the Shen really enables a champion like this to go full AD and still just jump into the middle of a team. And he's going to try again.
Yep, there's the Stand United. Can they find the damage? Look at that taunt hitting 3 people. That was massive. Score is going to drop. That's just 3 kills all dead from PU. That was like the 5th time they tried, but 5th time's the charm. Nutters is going to drop from it, but that is still a 3-for-1 trade going over. The score for the goal lead completely even now, but this is Minnesota having full reign of the map at this point, and they're going to try to siege mid.
Yeah, they need to start picking up some objectives here. They've won a few team fights in a row. But they're still pretty close in gold. That's going to start giving them more of a lead. I think they can maybe get 2 here. Dewey Daddy has actually run off, so killing a tower without your marksman's a bit tricky.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen.
Just a great fight. We were just talking about how much Nutters does damage, and obviously the Central Time Stand United keeping them somewhat tanky as well, meaning they can't just immediately turn and blow them up, and Purdue needs to find a response to this.
Yeah, Cat in the Hat trying to find something.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep you found like 3 people together, not 5 people together, Rengar is so good at finding when you're split up that they just need to have better map control here. They need to realize that they can't separate themselves. They're trying to force that last Mountain Drake, but they may have just given it up.
Oh, that's going to be actually taken by Gungu there. That's now triple Mountain Drake in favor of PU, but this fight is going to continue. Nutters is going to be the first to drop as everybody from Minnesota is going to be pretty low. Central Time getting a nice taunt there. Gungu is going to be locked up. Cat in the Hat on the other side of the wall trying to do what he can, but he's not going to be able to find any kills. That's going to be 2 for 0 so far. Cat in the Hat finally able to find the 1. Final Moment's trying to do what he can to get away, but the slow's not going to come in time. Score is going to pick that up. So just a little bit of a misplay there from Minnesota as Purdue gets the Drake and get many kills out of it. It's 3 so far. They're going to get another one too. Thieves is now on a killing spree. 4-4-4 on that Nautilus.
Yeah, I really like that play from Purdue, forcing a fight. You know, we've seen what happens when Minnesota is able to choose when they fight. Just running up and starting to smack an objective is sometimes the best way to start a team fight. The significant initiation ultimates for Minnesota were still on cooldown, so that was the best time to get a fight. They get that 3rd Mountain Drake. That's just... Baron will just melt now if they can set up for that. They get, well, I think, 4 kills total. So they, once again, take the gold lead. The gold lead, yeah, just back and forth this whole game. Just slight leads either way. But again, yeah, that 3rd Mountain Drake's just absolutely massive.
Yeah, Rengar there, Nutters got just blown up. He wasn't really able to do damage. And we saw in the last fight, he actually went from 3 stacks to 5 stacks. Kind of fitting, though, that when all you had to do is kill the bot lane, you kill them both in the same fight. Just very fitting in that. And
interesting, he only picked up 1 kill, so he had like one very close to kill situation. Yeah, a unique champion is killed within 1.5 seconds of taking damage from you. So that's what happened there. And yeah, 5 stacks, that will just contribute to his damage. But the really big thing here is we saw what happens when Purdue is able to choose when to fight, and 3 Mountain Drakes, like, there's nothing better, right?
Yeah, and
you can
there isn't the better.
Baron.
They can go
it's
for
a
Baron.
Very real threat. Oh, Gungu.
Yeah, Gungu is all alone, and that's just going to be a 2v5. They pick up the kill, though, but the rest of the team of Minnesota is going to be here. The redemption is going to come down, but it's not going to be enough healing so far, as Dewey Daddy is going to drop, but so does Score, and this is looking so in favor of Minnesota. It's already a 1 for 3. Thieves there is not able to run away with that dredge line, so he is going to drop as well. That's a shutdown going over to Nutters, and now Erox, the only one living. They were going around the Baron, but it looks like this is going to be Minnesota's Baron instead. Or they won't go away.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to try this. Probably with Dewey Daddy dead, they feel they don't really have the damage. Going to look for a turret instead. Realm Warp those minions up. This time, they're not Realm Warping into 5 people. So that'll work. Bypass the enemy minion wave. Smartly done.
Yep, another
that
goal
will
lead.
be an extra objective in their pocket. And now this may be the biggest goal lead we've seen this game.
This game,
at least in the last... At least in the last 10 minutes.
It's crazy when you're saying, like, yeah, the biggest goalie we've seen this game ever. 2,000. Yeah, it's like...
right? That's the point. But it was just... We were talking about how Purdue needs to be tight together. They need to choose when they fight. And then Gungu goes and walks just a little bit too far away from his team and gets immediately blown up by Nutters in Central Time. They are starting this Baron. It does seem like Minnesota walked too far away. You have to respect the 3 Mountain Drakes, and they did not. So, really smart counter, and they're actually going to go for the team fight, too.
Yeah, so with the Baron, can they get her off of anybody? Nutters, though, is going to drop. Erox is going to pick up that one as the fight's going to continue. 2 goes down already on the side of Minnesota. Like you said, they weren't in position for this, and it's going to cost them. They do kill Score, though, but it's only Central Time and Final Moments left. Central Time is really strong, 4-1-12, but can he find the kills? He's trying to do his hardest to get this kill on Alfredo, trying to get as many of these Baron buffs gone, but he's just not able to lock down the Karma. So that's going to be an ace in favor of Purdue as they get the Baron and they get the kills.
I think Minnesota has won every single fight where they've used the Rengar Shen ults combined and lost every fight where they haven't. You know, they have to recognize Central Time Stand United was not off cooldown. The Baron was already dead. Starting that fight without your main method of winning team fights available is just too risky.
Looking at the cooldowns now, they might have used a single ultimate during all that. Lulu's is still up. Dewey Daddy's is still like 3 quarters
still
off.
ulted to try to get score, but again, the Stand United wasn't available.
Yeah, okay,
so he was killed before he was able to take out score.
And again, now the 2,000 goal lead is going to go over it to Purdue, and this is what we saw very similar to the last game, that Minnesota was able to win fight after fight, but then just one bad decision, one bad team fight cost them so much.
They're trying again.
Yeah.
Stand United this time, please. There we go.
Yep, the ultimate's going to come through. Nutter's going to be protected there. The redemption's going to come through. Is he going to be enough to heal him? He is still alive. They can't kill this Rengar. He's still alive, but final moments will take the shots for him. But look at the damage coming on for Purdue. There's not really anybody low, so that's just going to be 2 very quick kills for them. Just didn't work for them yet again. Central Time and final moments are both down, and now this is just leaving Purdue up to do whatever they want. Nutter's going to get caught out, but you had to see them. You saw the tremors.
This time I do like the idea from Minnesota. I think, again, picking team fights with that Stand United. I need to remember what Rengar's Thrill of the Hunt combination has worked for them, too. But the execution was really, really poor. Trying to run past the Nautilus, Rengar's stealth does not work the same way anymore. They can see you when you get close, and Nautilus is not going to let you pass to his 80 carry if you try to skirt by him. So just a poor decision. Once they realized that they didn't have a clear path to score or Gungu, they need to call it off and withdraw. And Nutter's committed it anyways, and that's what lost them the team fight.
Yeah, and Alice the Gray here not allowing them to pass, and they're going over to the Dragon now, and with it being live, this is just going to be a 4th Drake going over. It's very quick, and this time I believe it was an Infernal Drake too.
It was Infernal, yep.
It's 3 Earth Drakes and an Infernal. This is just looking so good for Purdue, and now Minnesota, it's been back and forth for me with Minnesota in this game. They've done some things amazingly when they have Nutters go in, and then Central Time with that ultimate is landing a taunt on 3 people. Then other times, it's just not working at all. They're not finding anything with it, and they're doing fights in a spot where I think they shouldn't be. So it's one of those things where they do amazing plays and then do some lackluster ones almost immediately afterwards.
Well, it's all of their victories within this game pretty much have the identical pattern. And when they get away from that pattern, it doesn't work. So, you think at some point they say, this works, this doesn't, let's not do the things that don't work. But they keep repeating it. And now Score has a GA, and we saw last time, that's what really made these team fights difficult for Minnesota, and that may be the same thing here.
Yeah, these fights have been going, they go in the backside, they kill Score really quickly, and then they just don't have that consistent damage coming out from Varus. But if you're not able to completely lock them down, because we've seen how messy these fights were, they're not able to, let's say, get the kill on to Score and then force Purdue to disengage. They can stay around the dead body of their ADC, but Central Time going to be shut down fairly low, is trying to find what he can, but in the backside, doing that, he just gets locked up. He tried with the flanking Twitch, but it just didn't work, and Aerox picking another kill on Nutters. This is probably going to be massive for Purdue if they're going to be able to win this fight, and they are winning it decisively. They didn't drop a single member. Cadna had that last one alive. There's that combo you love so much as he gets away, but like you said, 3 Mountain Drakes, 30 second death timers. This is probably going to be game. Cadna hat. This is your moment. You have to do something huge right now, but he's going to be locked down. That is going to be an easy kill. That is going to be ace. That's going to be Purdue locking in their #1 spot, I believe, and that is going to be the game.
Yeah, we've seen when Purdue got their lead, they realized they had to pressure it, and they absolutely did. They caught out Central Time to start that. Dewey Daddy tried to pull the flank off, as you said, but that's really tough to do against Nautilus. Immediately got a giant anchor to the face, and rats do not survive anchors very well. And that was it. Just from that, it's done. And that's the series.
Yeah, the flanking Twitch can work when you're massively behind or ahead, but when you're behind like that, it just doesn't work, especially when the team catches on what you're doing and just engages on you. It just doesn't really work for you. So just great
Lulu wasn't there to give him the health. The Shen ult, I don't think was able to be used either. I think it was still up. Central Time was in the middle of it, so he wasn't going to be able to pop a Stand United there. So they recognized the threat immediately. They turned around. They took it out. And he just didn't have the damage, I still think. Even if he got a couple seconds off, I don't know if a 2-item Twitch, or 2.5, would have the damage to really shred that team down.
Yeah, so just great job from Purdue there. They're going to, I believe, I don't want to say any guarantees, but I believe they lock in their number 1 spot with this. I could be completely wrong. Purdue would know better their outcome. Wrong. What? I probably could be. I'm giving a lot of faith in Riot in that their tiebreakers were locked in beforehand, but with this loss, it does give it the option the opportunity to Northwestern to actually make a playoffs with their win against Wisconsin. So I'm not sure if that game has happened yet. We'll hope to see.
I guess the understanding is they do lose the tiebreak against Minnesota. So right now they're both at 2 points. Minnesota is still technically in 4th. But if Northwestern wins, obviously they'll go up to 3 points, and that will slot Minnesota into 5th, which just puts them out of the playoffs.
I just thought that was actually pretty crazy. If let's just say hypothetical here, Minnesota wins, Northwestern wins, and somehow I think it was Iowa was the 0-4 team actually get a win too. That would be 5 teams 3-2, and that'd be one thing. Like, how would Riot decide how to tie break that one? That'd have been insane. But with Purdue winning, that opportunity is not going to happen.
I'm assuming they have accounted for that. They have predetermined tiebreaker rules. But certainly that would suck to be the team that gets out of the playoffs when you're tied with literally everyone else.
Yeah, can you imagine like the one team that doesn't make it? It's like, oh wow, well, how did you do? It's like, oh yeah, we were 3-2. Oh great, that's like a guaranteed playoff spot. Were you top 2? Like maybe at least top 3? No, we got kicked out. We were 5th place of 6 at 3-2. But anyway, thank you for both teams for allowing us to cast. It was a pleasure. Doug, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Hey, anytime. I'll let you know the next time I'm going to be casting. Not really too sure of what I'm going to be doing next, but thank you everybody for watching as well, and we'll see you guys next time.